Thanks for coming back. I'm not fussy. I don't need a cappuccino, just a Nescafe. No, I'm just thought I'd throw that one in for a funny one. You know, we're busy chasing and pursuing happiness. You know, in the Bible it talks about that, you know, life and happiness is like pursuing. It's like chasing after the wind. Chasing after the wind, and it's a grasping of nothing. You know, you cannot grasp your house and take it with you. You cannot grasp your car. You cannot grasp anything here that's tangible on the earth and take it with you. It's like a pursual. You know, it's a chasing after the wind, and it's a grasping of nothing. You're grasping nothing. Are you grasping what I'm saying? What you're going to give to your children is memories, and that, my friend, is what's more important. Going back to me, I came back from America the 5th time. I was very, very sick. I wasn't able to swallow my food down and couldn't keep it down. The more I'd eat, the more I'd vomit out my food. I couldn't keep my food down. I'd vomit blood, blobs of blood, and I told no one. I want to tell you why I told no one. Since my mother died at 7.5, searching for love, I was verbally abused, physically abused, sexually abused, and emotionally abused. And trauma is a porthole that opens up a wound to your spirit. And yeah, I probably had schizophrenia. I used to hear right throughout my teenage years that, you know, oh, she doesn't look like her mum, but she's just like her mother. And in the hope of my mother's return, I started recycling some of her imperfections. I started recycling the resemblance of her journey, you see. Hopelessness would set in. And I would sleep at night hearing a voice say to me, "You're just like your mother. The only way you're going to ever get your dad and your siblings to love you is that if you were dying with cancer in the hospital." And I would visualize me dying of cancer. That's right. I would visualize me dying of cancer. I would envision my father standing there, my siblings standing there crying that I was dying of cancer, and that I would cry. What was I doing? Well, I was accepting the reality of where I was heading, the journey of my recycled past that I adopted from my parents. I accepted that as the current situation, or the current way, or the journey of my race of where I was heading. The recycled past was following me. How did it come through? Through resentment and anger and bitterness toward my father and my mother. That's right. These, my friends, are doors and entry points for you to recycle the same or the resemblance of your parents' circumstances in your current circumstances. So I found myself in the hospital, going to the hospital. I was all yellow. I was losing weight rapidly. The hospital wanted me, until I was sleeping one day in my bedroom. And then all of a sudden in my sleep, I woke up to this. This is what I woke up to. And you must understand, I come from a Catholic background. I woke up to a ball of smoke. It was like a billow of smoke from the ceiling to the ground, and it was rolling into my bedroom. As I woke up, I felt and I could hear or feel a tangible love that came from God, from Jesus, as though it was more tangible than this table. And it was rolling into my bedroom, and the only thing I could think of is, I'm a Catholic and I feel guilty for everything that I ever did wrong. Let me tell you, if you wanted to know anyone that missed the mark, I was a champion at missing the mark. I felt guilty, feeling this presence coming into my bedroom, but it was the love that I was searching for in my mother, in my father, 1,000,000 times over. Now, I need to rectify this. This is not about blaming my father. This is not about blaming my siblings or my mother. This is not about pointing the finger about where they made their mistakes, because I'm going to tell you, I had my own handful of mistakes. This is about forgiveness, my friend. This is about me choosing to reverse the curse and the cycle and forgiving my bloodline so that I can move on to the next cycle. So going back to the testimony, Jesus rocks up next to me, next to my bed, in a manifest man, like a man. He picks me up. He holds me in his arms. He was a very strong man. Looked like he was like a bodybuilder. And he held me in his arms and he said, "My name is Jesus. I love you. You have cancer. Do you want to come home to be with me, or do you want to stay?" All I could think of is, I'm not ready to go home. I want to stay. I want to have a child one day. That's what it was that I was feeling, that I wasn't ready to go. And he held me in his arms and he told me about how much he loved me. Now, this is the funny part. He came for 2 weeks every night. And I'm guessing he came for 2 weeks because I needed 2 weeks before it sank in that this was happening to me. It was all of the rebellion and all of the stubbornness, and I could never sit and listen to anybody, and I could never listen to any sound advice, because by then I'd become my own independent government. No one could talk to me. I was set in my ways. No one could penetrate me, and that's why I believe he came for 2 weeks running, because I needed a good shake up and a wake up, if that makes sense. I'm going to say this, I'm going to fast track this part, but within the next 3 weeks, I was miraculously healed of cancer. Miraculously healed of cancer. Now, what was behind that healing? A single mother, Debbie, had taken me into her home. She had a 3-year-old daughter, and she let me stay with her. I had nowhere to go because the lease was up where I was staying. She was a Christian. She took me to a church, but at her own home, I was miraculously healed of cancer. Thank you. Go to your break. Now I want a cake with my coffee, thanks. And I do like cream with my cake, so the sponge cake from Coles will do. We'll see you in a minute.